Hi, I'm Eduardo Neret with Campus Reform. The Big Ten announced it would be resuming college football like many other sports leagues across the country. So we're here today at George Mason University to see what students think about that. Do they think it's a good thing, a bad thing? And how much influence, positive or negative, do they think President Trump has had in the decision-making process? Let's find out. All right, so the Big Ten announced that they would be resuming college football next month. What do you think about the return of college sports, about college football resuming? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? What are your thoughts?
My take on it would be, as an athlete, I am looking forward to college sports returning for my own personal benefit to have a team. I am hesitant toward the large gatherings that the return of college sports would pose.
Initially, when I found out that the Big Ten was not going to be playing, I was like, this sets a good message that, the coronavirus is a serious thing, that COVID-19 obviously needs to be taken seriously.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing because, as long as nobody's in, the crowd or anything, gathering.
I feel like as long as they keep the amount of spectators in the stands at, a minimum, and they try and take, as many precautions as possible, people get so much enjoyment out of something like that. And I feel like, if anything, we really need that kind of stuff right now.
At the end of the day, is it risky? Yeah, it's risky. In sports, you're in close contact sports especially.
I think it's a good thing. We have to eventually adjust back to normal or some amount of normal.
Honestly, as much as I love sports and I love football and I miss it, I don't think they should be coming back. I don't think colleges especially don't have the resources to make sure that their players are safe.
There have been politicians who've really pushed the reopening of college sports and others who have tried to actually stop that from happening. So what are your thoughts on that? How do you view politicians who wanted sports to continue versus those who don't? Who do you think's right?
Sports is always an economic gain because people who train all their lives for sports.
Both sides bring up very good points. I think it's genuinely by college basis.
I'd have to say I'm probably pro opening sports as long as it's done well and responsibly. I would say I'm pro sports starting again.
More sense to wait until the pandemic has completely fleshed itself out.
How do you define that in your mind? Herd immunity, vaccine? When could, by that definition, sports resume?
I personally would not be comfortable with sports resuming until we have a vaccine that's available for the general public to use.
They're treating it like a serious issue, and they're keeping public safety and public health as a number one importance. And I think when I look at it from that lens, I'm comfortable with it.
In terms of politics, there is one person who comes to everyone's mind about who's been leading the push, and it is the president. He's been tweeting about Big Ten, get Big Ten reopening. How big of a role do you give him credit for in resuming college sports? And do you think that role is going to be received positively or negatively?
The president's been at the center of that so much. I feel like a lot of Democrats are against it purely because it's coming from him.
I don't see it having that positive of an impact. I think it was to gain, as a political strategy to gain political points.
I am left-leaning, but I will say that to his credit, I think that the president has had a large part to play.
I wouldn't say I'd give him credit of starting that movement. I feel like it's a movement that is coming from athletes, from people who love sports. His support of it will definitely push Democrats who may otherwise have supported the return of sports to be anti-sports.
Trump has no control over whether college students go and play sports back on campus.
I think it appeals a lot. Sports is popular.
With something that's as emotionally involved as sports, I think that that's something that can bridge partisanship.
Hi, I'm Eduardo Neret with Campus Reform. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more great content like this, be sure to click the subscribe button right here. And if you're interested in joining the Campus Reform team as a correspondent, investigator, or tipster, click right here.